Now, we all know by now that wealthy Nebraska Republican Congressman Mike Flood absolutely got his ass handed to him at his town hall the other day. I covered that town hall much more fully. You can go find that on my YouTube. But I promised that I would talk about one short clip of something that he said in more detail, because it really got my hackles up, and I think it merits a longer response.
You do not get free health care. You do not get free health care.
Hey, Mike Flood, I understand that you own, 7 radio stations and 5 TV stations, and that you're an extremely wealthy man. I also understand that as a U.S. congressman, you get free health care. You get free health care that our tax dollars pay for, and you get it for life. I understand as a Republican that you don't actually care about working class people. I understand as a Republican, you don't actually think that healthcare is a human right. You probably are not troubled in the least about how many Americans are dying every year from a lack of access to healthcare. How many Americans are dying because for-profit healthcare is denying them necessary care, often care that they are paying for, that they should be receiving. I understand as a wealthy businessman that you care far more about corporate profit and protecting corporate interest than having an America that serves the people. I get all that. I understand. We need only look at your voting record to understand what you're all about as a wealthy white man in Nebraska. Now, you got up and with your whole chest, you said to your constituents, the people that you work for, they are not your serfs. They are not just a source of tax revenue for you. You work for them. You are their public servant. They are your bosses. I know Republicans, the amount of disdain, the way they look down their noses at their own constituents shows me that they don't understand that dynamic. My congresswoman at her town halls, you know what she says? She says, I want to do my best to represent you. My job is to represent you, my constituents. Republicans act toward their own constituents like, you should be grateful that I'm giving you any attention at all. You're supposed to be their public servant. But again, we know that MAGA's agenda is to consolidate wealth and power. It's not to have a democracy. It's not to have freedom for everybody. It's all about Republicans, the wealthy, wanting to have the power, the control, the resources, and to view all of us in the working class as cogs in the machine, who are giving our life hours, who are giving our tax revenue, all to support the working class. They are America's biggest welfare queens. They are taking our labor, our tax money, our life hours in order to live high on the hog and enrich themselves. So of course he doesn't want you to have free health care, because that would require the wealthy actually being taxed, actually paying their fair share. Of course, he doesn't want you to have the things that he has access to. He has his gold-plated concierge health care for the rest of his life, but he doesn't think that you should have the same. He doesn't think that you have a right to any health care at all. And I guess my question for you, Mike Flood, and for any other Republican is, why not? Why should the American people not get free health care? Why is it that the American people don't deserve free health care? Because most other developed nations on earth, they have healthcare systems where it is folded into their society. It's not tied to their employment. I know that Republicans just voted to take away healthcare from 14 million Americans, mostly disabled. It's going to be elderly folks. It's going to be pregnant people. We're going to see people's grannies with dementia in memory care kicked to the curb. We're going to watch clinics and hospitals close all over rural America. I mean, Nebraska was the first state that had a hospital close as a direct result of Republicans cutting Medicaid. The cuts haven't all even been made yet, and a hospital already closed in Nebraska. I think it's supposed to be a dozen hospitals that are going to close across your state, Mike Flood. So not only are you making sure that Americans don't have the possibility of affordable health care, you're going to deny them access to health care at all. Again, while you maintain your gold-plated free health care for the rest of your life. So why is it that you don't think that working class Americans deserve to have health care? It is insane. It's completely nonsensical that in this country, our health care is tied to your place of employment, and that depending on where you live, depending on who you work for, you will have vastly different quality of healthcare, cost of healthcare. I mean, I get that that makes you very much beholden to your employer. If you have really good health insurance, you are afraid to do things like go back to school and change your credentialing, improve your circumstances, get an education. You're afraid to take a risk on a new job. You're afraid to take a sabbatical. You're afraid to protest in the streets because if you get fired, you will lose your health care. I understand that's why healthcare is tied to employment. And I also understand the reason that we don't have universal healthcare in this country is because the for-profit healthcare industry lobbies so hard against it. It's wild to me that, people argue against universal healthcare. Republicans argue against universal healthcare for two main reasons. One, maybe a lot of Gen Z on this app are not old enough to remember the death panels. Republicans, when we were talking about passing the Affordable Care Act, were really opposed to it because they kept saying it's going to make death panels that decide what kind of care elderly people do or do not get based on number crunching. What the fuck do you think for-profit healthcare does right now in this country? They decide whether or not to give you care based on their profit margin. Now, I've talked before about how I have Kaiser, which is a non-profit health insurance, and they have the highest approval rating for, people's treatments and procedures that they need to get done. They have the lowest denial rate of anybody because their motivation is not profit. When you have universal healthcare, the motivation becomes caring for the people. We have death panels for the elderly. It's through for-profit healthcare. And also, was it not Republican Joanie Ernst who said the other week that everybody dies? She had no sympathy whatsoever for her constituents who are going to be losing their health care over Medicaid being cut, over people's grandma and grandpa losing their Medicaid nursing home and memory care coverage. Again, with an elected official being so condescending and dismissive of the experience of her constituents, being like, oh, everybody dies, stop your bitching. That was her attitude. The Republicans are the eugenicists who want death panels. They just want outright suffering and death for anybody who's disabled, a child, elderly, in poverty, struggling. And in general, all of us, they don't want you to have good health care, but they're going to make damn sure that they get it. The second thing that I hear from people about why we can't have universal health care is because it would be long wait times to see practitioners. Long wait times. Everybody says like, oh, Canada, you have to wait two years for your knee replacement. What the fuck do you think is going on in the United States of America? Healthcare here is imploding. Do you know how long it takes to get in to see a specialist? The wait times are just as long, if not longer here. But then at the end of it, you get a bill, a huge, huge bill. Now, I'm a big fan of healthcare for all. I support healthcare for all in Oregon. There's no reason we couldn't have healthcare for everybody in this country. No legitimate reason. The reasons that we don't are that the super rich don't want us to have it. For-profit healthcare doesn't want us to have it, and the super rich do not want to be taxed fairly in order to fund it. All of our healthcare would get so much more affordable if we took the profit out of the equation. If we had nonprofit sustainable healthcare where the goal was to make sure that people got their care needs met. I mean, Republicans in the for-profit healthcare industry in this country have spent decades propagandizing the American people to fear universal healthcare, to make it sound like, I don't know, it's something bad and terrible, and to fool people into thinking that healthcare couldn't be a basic right in this country. Of course it could. Republicans have done a fantastic job in this country of fooling Americans into believing that the purpose of government is not to take care of the people, is not to provide the services that we need in order to have a good quality of life. Americans really need to reframe our understanding of what the job of the government is. It's not for us to serve the government and to pay our taxes so that they are funneled up to the billionaires. The job of our government should be to serve the people, to invest in the people, and give us a good quality of life. And it's so fucking obvious when you listen to Republicans like Mike Flood. They have no interest in providing you a good quality of life. They have no interest in making sure your needs are met at all. They have no interest in representing their own constituents. They only care about their own wealth, their own comfort, their own power, and protecting corporate interest, foreign interest, and the billionaires. They don't care about a functional government that serves the needs of the people. They don't care about an America of, by, and for the people. They don't care about the American dream for you. They don't care about you getting basic health care. Mike Flood is absolutely lying to you. Not only could you have free health care, you deserve it. We all deserve it, and we absolutely could fund it.